Welcome to the Dance Lens podcast, where we take a deep dive on all things dance. We'll look at how the art form is woven into politics, history, and cultural developments, and we'll draw back the curtain on the lives of the artists in conversations with dancers, choreographers, directors, set and costume designers, and more. If you're in the industry or a curious listener, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Cynthia Dragoni. Thanks for listening and enjoy. Yuan Yuan Tan is one of the most important ballerinas of our time. You were a principal dancer with San Francisco Ballet for almost 30 years, where you interpreted nearly 100 roles. It's amazing. And now the artistic director of the new production Lady Whitesnake, which is in partnership with the Shanghai Grand Theater, and the artistic director of the Suzhou Ballet Company. Can you talk to us just a little bit about what first drew you to ballet? In one of our other conversations, you were telling me about a Galina Ulanova recording, and I thought it would be something nice for people to hear about.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it was my mom's dream to become a dancer. And when she was young, she dreamed about it. And then at that time in China, we don't have so many people knows about ballet. And then obviously she didn't go to the dance school. But when I was born, and she thinks that I have the gift for dance. At the age of 5, for the first time, I saw in the black and white TV, Galina Ulanova's Swan Lake. I was fascinated about it. And then as a little girl, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I just want just be like her. I don't know. It's how they do it and on the toes, doing all these beautiful movements. And then, of course, the crown, the costume. Yeah, it's fascinating. And I was like, wow, it's interesting. I want to be just like that. So that was my impression for ballet at the age of 5.
Isn't it beautiful? Dancers from all over the world and different time periods, ages, culture. It's like we all fall in love with those visuals.
Yeah,
That ephemeral ballerina it's like she's not even human, yet she is human. It's like the fantasy speaks to us all.
yes. It's like a little girl's dream, like always, like there's a ballerina live inside of us, right? Yeah,
And I think she does. It's like the dream stays with you.
yeah.
And is it true that your career in dance was at one point decided by a coin toss?
Yes, that's true. By a coin toss. And the reason is my father wanted me to just pursue like normal study routine, graduate from college, and then become a doctor, lawyer, and or engineer, something stable job we call.
Sure.
And he thinks like ballet is Western art, and he never thought that I can go abroad to overseas to pursue my career and dreams. So he's like, well, you're the only child, one child policy, and you are a girl, so you better have a steady job, which ballet, they have very short career, and a lot of injuries, a lot of uncertainties. You might have to retire at age of 20 something or 30, and what are you going to do later? So that's his concern. But my mom, on the other hand, that's her dream. So they had an argument for a while. And I was actually made audition for the school, like one of the 1,000 kids. In total, like a couple thousand kids, we only have 24 of us left, 12 girls, 12 boys. And then after my parents arguing, I finally entered the school after the coin toss at the age of 11. So I started ballet at age of 11 at the Shanghai Ballet School.
Wow, so they settled their argument by flipping the coin.
Yeah, they asked me my opinions, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to choose for. And then So they are like, okay, the Buddha will decide for you. I entered school a year later, and I was at the corner of the bar. So because I don't know any steps, and then I was ugly duckly. But slowly I tried very hard. From the end of the bar, go to the center bar. So that's
Mhm.
how the teacher can see you and always like yell at you like, that's not right. And then I become better and better. And I got gold medal in Paris International Competition and Japanese in Japan international competition and Nijinsky Award. So that's how I got a scholarship go to Germany, Stuttgart.
And you were promoted at a really young age, right?
I was 19 and a half, I believe. Yeah. I joined the company when I was 18. So
Mhm.
yeah, as a soloist.
Did that feel like a lot of responsibility at that age?
Actually, I didn't sing that much because my English is not so good. And I just focus on my dance, just doing my best on stage. And then Helgi gave me a lot of opportunities, and I would just make it happen on stage.
I love that the fearlessness of youth, like when you haven't even had the time to
Yeah,
overthink it. You're just present with what needs to be done.
yeah. Well, I remember one time when I was one time one of the principal dancer get hurt, and the second cast get hurt too. And Helgi asked me to do Stravinsky violin concerto. This I think it was the second violin, and I've never ever watched or experienced or any of the balancing programs. Because when
Mhm,
I grew up, we don't have this like informations in the school.
mhm.
And when I was in Germany for half a year, and they have not performed any of the balancing programs, they just gave me a VCR. At that
Mhm.
time, the VCR said,
Yes.
"Oh, you try to learn it. You can maybe try to perform tomorrow." So I learned overnight, and I did performance the next day. I don't know how I did it, but I remember when I finished dance, I was sweat a lot, but my feet are still cold and my hands are still cold.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, from the nerves probably.
On the nerves. Yeah. But in the way I think, oh, you give me all this like crazy opportunities. And I'm glad I made it happen.
For anybody who's listening to learn something like Stravinsky Violin Concerto overnight, having never come into that style of ballet, it's a different way of listening to the music. It's a different way of moving. I mean, that was
Yeah.
really like a Herculean feat
Yeah.
he gave you.
Yeah. But it was a great memory. Anyway, I'm never gonna forget about it.
And now we get to enjoy it too, just even in our imaginations, the thrill of, like, getting the tape and having the show
Yeah.
the next day. Helgi Tomasson was the director of San Francisco Ballet for how long was his tenure? I think it was almost 40 years, and he was a star with New York City Ballet before that. It was under you and him, like, during your that time, those decades, that San Francisco Ballet really became one of the best companies in the world.
It's a very unique company, and they attract a lot of great dancers to join the company. And I seen a lot of stars there, and I learned from them. It was just like a golden time for me to see the company and getting better and internationally renowned.
I was just talking about it a couple of days ago. The touring is such an important part of the development of the
Yeah.
art form. The great choreographer Frederick Ashton never would have gone into dance if Anna Pavlova hadn't been touring the mountains of
Uh,
Peru, where his
yeah.
family was stationed. So that's such an important thing, and I love and we'll get to it in a few minutes, but I love that you're touring this production now, especially in the times that we're in. There's global tension
Hmm.
between
Hmm.
so many people, and to be able to take the production like Lady Whitesnake with its technology and its ancient fairy tale and its
Hmm.
mixture of dance forms to take it where we wouldn't otherwise have seen it. Like, I made a post on social media and I've got so many messages asking me from different cities, asking me
Mhm.
when you're coming to their city.
Oh, wish maybe next time enough budget will do so.
Yeah,
It's
right.
always
Right, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
It's always about the budget.
yeah.
So Helgi was, of course, really important to you. Were there other mentors or really important teachers that were pivotal in your development?
I think I work closely with several great choreographers, and that's including Helgi and Yuri Posakov. He
Mhm.
was my dance partner before, but he made his first San Francisco ballet is Marguerite Mania. That piece made on me. So he made so many ballets internationally, but a lot of them are with SFB. Work with John Meyer is a dream come true. And I'm glad that The Little Mermaid DVD was made in SFB. Christopher Wilden, Edward Lian, William Forsythe. So I got the great experience with all these choreographers. I learned a lot from them, and they inspire me. And just like I felt this art form never will just stay in one place, or they always forward, moving around, and new experience, new pieces, new body language.
Those are some incredible names. I think we could probably do a whole podcast
I
just
hope,
on that one answer
yeah.
and your work with each one of those people and what they meant also to the
Mm,
development of the art form. And then, of course, a classical ballerina like yourself is also going to be in the works of choreographers who are no longer living.
mhm,
Um, and your interpretations of roles like the classics, Odette,
mm.
Odile, Swan Lake, Giselle, did you have a special way to prepare emotionally for those types of characters?
For like a Swan Lake is my first full Swan Lake when I think I believe it was 18 and a half or almost 19. And I just felt the black swan and white swan, the differences with the eye, like the contact. And then, the evil look, or like actually not evil, but it's just like a
Sure.
very calculated look. And then versus white swan is like very pure, and then she's very vulnerable because she got this tragic things happened from a princess into a swan. So she was like little fragile, and then Buri can be very shaky, like
Sure.
scary when she first met the prince at the lakeside. And yeah, that was the other version of Helgi's. Because Helgi have two versions of Swan Lake.
And that must really influence your work with your dancers now and the way you develop them.
Yeah, I just try to remember all the experience I had, and the corrections are passed down from my teacher and my coach.
Do you have a different approach either for yourself as a dancer or with the dancers that you're working with now, because now you're an artistic director, when you approach working on contemporary pieces versus the classical repertoire?
Classical, you always have uplifting, like to be very proper, to be precisely correct. You have to make it happen. You have to be turned out. And your footworks have to be clean, like very sharp for balancing
Yeah.
style. And classical is classical. There's no, you cannot be like wobbling and then doing something we call weird, looks weird on stage. For the contemporary, you have more freedoms. And
Sure.
then also in the contemporary, like for example, The Little Mermaid, every step is like walking on the blade. So
Right.
how you interpret this at that moment, your role is that way, how you interpret it. And John used to say, well, uh, don't act. The steps is already there. Just do the steps. And I think I've put in my feelings. It just happens.
What was the story behind you taking on the role of the artistic director of the production of Lady Whitesnake? I'm sure everyone would love to hear the story.
So actually, basically, we had this idea in 2018.
Mhm,
I think 2018 when the director of the theater was approaching me to do this production. And then she was like, I wanted to do this maybe not in the ordinary way. This story is legendary story and it has been told in different formats like opera, Peking
mhm,
opera and Cantonese opera, animation, movie, TV series, and yeah, it's a lot of versions of the Lady of White Snake. She was she had this idea, the director, to emphasize with the awakening of woman's inner being.
mhm.
So we have a capsule to travel back and forth. And this story can be 1,000 years ago, and then actually that's the name in this time of the earth. Then she get this idea and I'm interested. And then we are trying to get started maybe 2019. But I was too busy at that time. And then she approached me in 2019 saying, oh, can we start at 2020 in May? And I say, sure, we can start it because that's the free time for SRB after the season, usually, right? From May to July, we have 2 months. And then pandemic happened. And then I thought this is not going to be happening. But she called me again saying, oh, we still trying to do in May. Are you available? And I said, well, yeah, I'm available. And then she was like, okay, but right now in China, we shut down the entire city in Shanghai. What else we can do? So one of the producer, he mentioned that he can arrange things in Australia. So the principals all fly from UK, Shanghai, from US, and then Ed Liang, who at that time was the choreographer, and he also fly from US. We all get together in Australia. But during that time, four of us were never together. The reason is some people get sick, they have to be quarantined for 7 days. Another one gets sick, another 7 days. So we got 2 times for us together in the studio with a mask. That's how we make this work. We fly back in October. So Ed used only 4 weeks to make all this. The dancers from the opera company, they are Chinese folk dancer and contemporary. He used the 4 weeks to rehearse this, and then we had a premiere. I believe it's November the 3rd,
Was that in Australia?
Shanghai,
Oh, it was.
China,
Okay.
Shanghai Grand Theater. Producer is from Shanghai, is Shanghai Grand Theater, and I remember when you enter China at that time, you quarantine in the hotel for 14 days. You cannot go out at all. And so all the principal dancers, she from UK and from Australia, we all have the little room, try to make our exercise every single day. And then 14 days later, we gathered together. It was like, wow, what an experience for that. This is like 2.0 version. We call 2.0. Because Ed is too busy, so he cannot do the changes. So they hire another like choreographer to make the 2.0 version. And he's a contemporary dancer from Beijing. We cut some of the storyline because it will be easier for audience to understand. Because in capsule, as you say, okay, you traveled 1,000 years ago, but you have to change the scenery and
Right.
costume. So it cannot be that easy to tell and let audience get what's going on. So we made some changes. The story line was changed a little bit. And then, of course, the dance style is maybe more contemporary. Yeah, but
Right.
ballet is one couple. Yeah. But before, Fahai, the psychiatrist, is
Mhm.
the ballet dancer. Now the Fahai is also Chinese classical dancer. Yeah. They're,
Amazing.
yeah, they're phenomenal. As you can see from little clips, the fight, the music is quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that phenomenal is the right word. I'm always saying that I think the next level, like people will ask me sometimes, just as an
Mm,
opinion, who
mm,
do you think is the next choreographer or the next important company? And
mm.
of course, there will be, and there are important choreographers and important companies, but I really think the next important movement is going to be this mixing of styles, the use of technology. And so when I saw the video for Lady White Snake, I was like, yes, this is where all of this is going, and everybody needs to see this.
Yeah, because it's mixture of like Chinese folk dance, classical dance, not mention of course ballet, and then kung fu.
It's so interesting, like all these different perspectives, because you're also directing the company in Suzhou. Your perspective as an artistic director, does that feel very different from your perspective as a dancer?
This company in Suzhou, they're 17 years old, and then actually not too far away from Shanghai, of a 1 hour and a half drive. And then it got a very beautiful theater, the cultural center by the Golden Rooster River. And the company just like inside of the theater. So
Mhm.
we got nice studios, and we have 48 or 49 dancers. When I become the artistic director, I wrote to the Balancing Trust, and they sent a ballet master over to coach all the dancers for 4 weeks. And I have to say, it's for them, it's a day and night change. Because you know how hard it is for
Yeah,
balancing style. Of course, they never ever
sure.
this opportunity to dance that. I was very glad I made this happen. And I also invite the Helgi's permission for his Concerto Grosso to be
Wow.
performed here. Concerto Grosso. I remember when he first made it, it was Pascal Malon was the red guy, and Hansuke Yamamoto and Jaime. It was like a good memory. It's like I was like, well, I remember the first time they performed this ballet. The experience of watching them to rehearse is every day. It's like, oh my God, this is so hard. But I had Vito Luis to
Oh,
coach them. And he also made a 35 minutes ballet, Remember Me, for the Suzhou Ballet. That's what I did for the company. And then they have one Russian version from the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. So I had them to do the Swan Lake as well.
wow. So it sounds like it's a real balance
Hmm.
between new works and neoclassical plus these really deep classics.
Hmm.
I mean, it sounds a lot like San Francisco.
Yes, yes. I just try to make something new and respect the classicals because that's the base. And
Mhm.
you have to have balancing piece. That's what I think. And just little by little. And then now I'm making another new Flings ballet called the Bridge of the Magpie. It's coming. It's right now they have a costume fitting now. We are going to have the world premiere August 29th in Suzhou. A
Well,
fully
I wish
ballet
I could
90 minutes. I'll send you clips.
please do. That sounds really fascinating. Are there some surprises for you going from being a dancer to an artistic director?
So I do think back when I was dancing, what I feel if,
Mm,
things doesn't go your wish. For
sure.
example, I wanted to dance like principal rules. Why is not me? Why is her? And this kind of things. And then also to think not only one thing, but in the different perspective.
Mhm.
And it's not for only one person, it's for the entire company. The casting
Right.
change. when you get injured, who is replacing who. And because we don't have a lot of dancers, that's why I have to be really careful with how I do the casting.
Right, it's like you have to zoom out, and it's hard to really it's hard to relate to that when you're a dancer
Yeah,
because your work is necessarily selfish, like, focused on your needs, and it's really like an opposite way of thinking about it
yeah,
as the
yeah. Yeah, for a dancer, actually, very luckily, you only focus on what you do the best, which is to go on stage, shine, and then enjoy on stage.
Right.
For the director, you have to worry about every single things, and then it's like a domino. There's one falling part, it's like a circle of problems. So, and then you have to do the puzzle to try to fix it. Yeah, it's a full journey of learning experience. And then, I can imagine how he handled the situation. I remember, I remember. Yeah. And also he was doing that for almost 40 years. It's a pretty tough job.
Is he still supporting you,
Yes.
as a mentor, as a friend?
As a mentor, yes, yes. And then last time when I was in San Francisco, we had a tea together, and I showed him the videos of Concerto Grosso, and he was very happy. He's like, "The quality is good. I like it." He said, "I was like, yes, yes," at my shoulder. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So cute. And the dancers in your company, do they also have a similar training like you had when you were young? Are they also basically in the Vaganova style?
To say, if, over the years, the style have been gone lost a bit.
Mhm.
As specific training, they train from different schools
Okay.
in China. So the style is just a little bit different. And
Mhm.
I think, San Francisco Ballet, the dancer trained different style as well. But the most importantly is on stage how you show the classical or you show the contemporary, and to polish and be more specific about what kind of style are you performing. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, and I love the mix of styles in Lady Whitesnake. Like, I think it's just not even something that we have ever heard of before. Like, you would never hear in one sentence, "Oh, it's classical ballet, classical Chinese dance, Chinese folk dance, kung
Hmm.
fu, and it's ancient and it takes place in the future." This mix of cultures and languages and histories, but all through the window, the very narrow
Yeah.
window, essentially of ballet.
I think it's just like emphasized a
Mhm.
different dance styles. That's how we
Right.
wanted to make everything just like echo each other and then maybe mix each other. And then that's, I think, why not to make something interesting happen? And, if the art is going forward, you needed to make a new experience, new style, or new things happen. That's meant to be. I believe.
You put it really beautifully when you say that they echo each other, because even just in the 5-minute clips, I could see that echo immediately, and it's echoed in the projections, in the visuals. It's like
Hmm.
really, really like a hologram. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Another meaning, I think this production is the soul chasing the spiritual journey of, like, very Chinese way of thinking, and then they chase back 1,000 years ago in your last life and etc. That'd be very unique with the high tech right now. It makes, um, visually more vividly. For example, under the water, how the fish swim, the green snake, how they doing all this lift, a female lift a female, and then they just help each other like water. That was beautiful and scene. Yeah, I like, very much that scene. Yeah.
I can't wait to see it, and I love this beautiful idea of chasing yourself through your last lifetime and the
Yeah.
spiritual confrontation because, those ideas are in the ballets and in the fairy tales, it's in the mythology. It's like
Yeah.
that's really always what we're talking about, right? This
Yeah. Yeah.
confrontation with itself
Yes.
and
Yes.
time and multiple lifetimes, multiple identities. So it's so cool to have it out in the open and through all of these different mediums and styles. Like I I haven't seen anything new that's been this exciting probably since Cirque du Soleil. And I hope that that's taken as a compliment. The first time I saw Cirque du Soleil was maybe 25 years ago, and I remember I had seen Sylvie Guillaume do her own version of Giselle the same week,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and
Wow.
it was like, yeah, what an exciting week, right? Especially as a young dancer, but for me, it was like this identity crisis because I couldn't decide which show I liked more.
Mhm. I can't imagine, like, how Sylvie Guillaume's Giselle look like. It must be fascinating. I watched the Cirque du Soleil, several times, like, the idea of mixture of things and then
Right,
excitement and, music, and then they use all the tools. It's not only a circus, but with, a story.
right. Right. When I saw Lady Whitesnake, it reminded me of that time when it was
Mhm.
like, you see what's possible.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for bringing it to New York because we cannot
Yeah.
wait.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited. And then all the dancers are very excited to come to New York City and at David Cook Theater.
The show is on July 26th and 27th at Lincoln
Yeah.
Center. You can get the tickets on lincolncenter.org.
Yes, yes.
I'll link everything in the show notes, and that's July 26th and 27th of 2025. So depending on when you're
2025.
listening to this, because I'm going to leave
Yeah.
this up. But even if somebody hears this after these dates, hopefully we'll have more coming from you
Mm.
soon. Thank you so much, Wenwen.
Thank
This
you
is
so much, Cynthia.
really special for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the podcast. I'll leave you with this quote from the revolutionary choreographer, Martha Graham. One does not choose to be a dancer, one is chosen. And with that, you live all your life. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week on the Dance Lens podcast. Bye bye.